So beyond grades and policies, what do you think this means for a child's life? So why or how does early school support shape how a child with ADHD sees themselves?
Yeah, I mean, early school is so important because that's when a child's brain is developing the most. I mean, especially ages 0 through 5, but even beyond that, children are learning and growing and developing so much early on. And parents, educators, we are giving them their inner voice. Our voice is becoming their inner voice. So having that in mind and knowing that we're helping to shape them as they grow is something to take really, really seriously. I think, especially as an educator, we want to take that really seriously. Students with ADHD, I've mostly worked with children preschool to school age, early school age, but I've worked with children of all ages. And it's so hard to hear a teenager that suffers from ADHD that that they've had a bad experience with school because they've got lower self esteem, either overall lower self esteem or especially lower self esteem within a certain academic skill. Oftentimes they have low success with that skill, and it's kind of like a loop. The confidence affects their performance affects their confidence. So when you're not getting that support early on and those skills start to suffer and suffer and suffer, the confidence goes down and down and down. And it's something that then it can be unlearned, but it's a harder process at an older age than if we were to intervene early and step in and start to make changes at a younger age.
I completely agree because you're exactly right. It's so hard to unteach those patterns the older you are. And so like early intervention, kids are developing like the thought of like I can figure this out. They're building confidence from small academic wins. They're making the effort meaningful instead of humiliating. And so that early sport really does build those. And as an older kiddo, like it is so hard to unteach those things because they're already so stuck. It's already their foundation.
Right. And I think you kind of touched on this a little bit too, but to even go further, learning about process praise and growth mindset, I think is really essential, especially for children with ADHD, because I've encountered a lot of students that have this that don't have a growth mindset and they get so stuck. I'm not good at. It's not like I need to practice this skill or I'll get better with practice. It's just a straight, oh no, I'm not good at that. Or even so hard. I've had students that are like, I'm just dumb. I'm not smart. I
Mm.
can't do this because I'm not smart. And they're so set in that fixed mindset because they maybe haven't gotten the support that they needed. And it's really heartbreaking. But with appropriate support, students will build those skills and that confidence over time. And it's harder to do at an older age, but it's absolutely possible to do at, I believe, any age, whether that's childhood or even adult. I've definitely had some things that I had to unlearn and relearn
Mhm.
as an adult as well. And it's a process, but there's definitely a light at the end of the tunnel that it can be done. I think the really important thing that we can be supporting students with ADHD is, not just help with certain skills. I think that like academic skills, which I think is very, very important, but also supporting them in their time management skills, their study habits, their ability to prioritize tasks and organize themselves. Those are things that students with ADHD struggle with immensely. And just like any other strength or skill or topic, it's something that can be strengthened with practice. So it's not just something, some people think, well, I'm just not an organized person. Well, you can be if you practice. You have to put the work in, and having support to do that. If you're someone that has ADHD, then that's really going to do wonders because it's not something that maybe comes naturally. It's something that has to be worked on to develop.